Hi, my name is Bas de Leede and I'm a Dutch cricketing all-rounder.
Yeah, we've done it again. We've got another Dutch player on the pod. We did Timmy Pringle a couple of weeks ago, Max O'Dowd about a month and a half ago, and here we are with Matt Damon in Goodwill Hunting himself. Bas de Leede, how are you, mate?
I'm all good, mate. I'm all good.
So we have spoken as well about having Dutch players on the pod before, but they're both Kiwis, mate. You have the most authentic treacle tones of the Dutch accent. Um, so good to have you on. Let's dive straight into the World Cup and that game in Perth against Pakistan. Pretty spicy all tournament. Haris Rauf bowling at 150 clicks, steaming in straight at your skull. What's going through your head? Talk to us.
Not much, mate. For a second, I thought the ball was going through my head, but that's luckily that didn't happen. Um, no, it was funny because we played them in the summer on a Dutch wicket, which was actually very slow. So, there was a bit of a confidence going into the game that I was going to be able to play them. But then, it's different on an Australian wicket, I guess, and especially Perth. So, yeah, getting hit. Luckily, the Pakistani players came right over. Physio came up to me, started doing asking some questions, but then I had to get off. I had to go off because of the cut. Um, but yeah, it was pretty scary because I didn't know what happened. I didn't know if it was bad or not. So yeah,
Do you know what did any of them say to you as you were sort of languishing on the floor?
nothing, nothing. They came up to me and like I could see because I could see them, and I saw as soon as I looked them in the eyes, they were like, "Oh fuck." So I was like, guys, what's happened? Fill me in. Um, nah, but luckily they were good sports, and especially after the game, they came up to me and yeah, they really made sure I was okay, which was very nice of them. They didn't have to do that.
Paddy and I are club cricketers and pretty much terrified of the ball, like 99% of club cricketers. We're wondering, like, when you see something like that, any international cricketers like scared of the ball or get terrified like that?
I'd say most of the bowlers. At
Yeah.
least that's how they bat. No, I've never spoken to anyone that's actually scared of the ball. You've got guys. I think no one likes to
Mm.
train fast bowling, but I guess when you're in the game, yeah, your confidence should be high enough that you're not
Mm.
thinking about getting hit.
Yeah, the nets are pretty scary. Like you just feel like you're boxed in. You've got this little black netting around you. It feels like you're just in a little cave. And when you go out and bat in the middle, it's like 5, 10K slower, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's what it feels like. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
That's why I hate bowlers that bounce you in the nets because then I don't know. Yeah, I feel helpless. I feel like a deer in headlights when they bounce me in the nets. But then
I,
once you get out in the game, it's not actually that bad.
I
Yeah.
suppose when you're used to playing on the mats in Holland most of the year round, it's a bit of a tough switch up.
Exactly. You've got guys steaming in off 5 meters in the Dutch leagues. So it's a bit of a step up, but it's luckily we've got some good facilities to train on.
So let's talk stats of that World Cup. With the ball, 23 overs. You got 13 wickets at an average of 14.15. Best figures of 3 for 19, including a pretty impressive 2 for 14, while maybe partially concussed off the back of getting hit in the head by Haris Rauf. Um, what did that tournament mean to you, to the group of players in that sort of Dutch camp? Talk us through it.
Um, yeah, I think most of us, the age difference is pretty big. We've either got guys that are 50 plus that have had the experience of playing all over the world and playing in World Cups and whatnot, and then you've got I'd say 7 or 8 like younger guys under 25. Just starting to get to know what international cricket is like. So to be able to perform the way we did at that World Cup as a team and like being able to play together as a team was pretty special for me. As we don't get a chance, we don't get a lot of chances to play together during the Dutch season because of all the county guys that are unavailable and stuff like that. So for me, it was pretty special to see how the group bonded, and then performances obviously coming on the back of that, I think.
You guys had quite a World Cup campaign. Like you had a few close matches with UAE, Namibia, and then you beat Zimbabwe, and then you beat South Africa by 13 runs. Which one was your favourite moment or favourite game from the World Cup?
I think, well, favorite game has to be South Africa, definitely.
Yeah.
But I think favorite moment might actually be the day we lost against Sri Lanka. We had to have UAE beat Namibia. The scenes back at the hotel were incredible. I've never had so much adrenaline watching a cricket game in my life. It was unbelievable. And then, you know, the guy, I think it was so close, and the guy took a catch standing on the rope, catching Visa.
Visa,
yeah.
And like that moment, I don't know if Maxi showed you guys any footage, but it was incredible.
He told us he did get the decks down for a bit. A few beers were drank.
Yeah, no, he loves to get himself out there.
I wanted to ask as well, your WhatsApp photo, is that you and Maxi?
Yeah, it's me and Maxi in the Emirates business lounge, like what's it, in the plane actually.
Yeah, looked like you're getting pretty loose and large in there.
Yeah, no, we I think we had like 2 espresso martinis, and we got into an argument with one of the stewardesses who can make a better one. So we both got a shot at making our own.
And what was the verdict? Yours or O'Dowd's espresso martini?
No, we were both shit. One of the stewardesses won it for sure. I was pretty happy with mine though for the first time.
Yeah.
Is that the cocktail of choice for the boys?
I wouldn't say for the boys. I think there's a lot of different flavors going around the group. Fred Klaassen loves a margarita. What's it? Rum and cokes, vodka lime sodas. It's a lot of different flavors.
Sorry, go on, Tony.
Sorry, we heard the story from where Maxi was sitting in, like, for that last game against UAE, Namibia against UAE. Where were you sitting in the hotel room? Were you on your phone? Were you watching it? What were you doing?
Because Maxi was scared of watching the telly.
No. I was in the crowd. No, not in the crowd at the game. We were like, what was it, 25 of us just watching it on the on someone's Fire Stick in the team room. So like I think, like Maxi said, there was a couple of guys that couldn't actually watch it, so they were checking it on their phones, and there was a couple of guys in the hotel bar watching the game because it had a quicker stream. So I think it was like a 10-second lag. It was crazy.
Let's take it back to the beginning. You've spoken a bit, as naturally you would, about the De Leede family. Your father playing for the Netherlands, bit of a legend in up and coming Dutch cricket at the time. Do you want to just walk us through your origins in getting into international cricket in that orange cap?
Well, do you want me to start at the proper beginning, or
whatever
the
pipeline works for you, mate?
No, obviously my dad played cricket, and he took me along to all his games, whether it was club level or Netherlands stuff. I would come and watch as much as I could. But he basically started throwing balls to me when I was 2, I think. We had a decent sized backyard for Holland. So I was hitting balls in there, and then as soon as I could, register myself for a cricket club, and then started playing. I never really had a goal in cricket, I think, if you can say that. Obviously, it's weird coming from a country that's not really cricket mad. Is you don't know where you can go because there's no one to compare yourself to. So I was just playing for fun, and I'd see where I end up, and then sorry, I think my headphones are died. Can you hear me still?
Yeah, you're good.
No, and then as soon as I started getting into the Dutch setup, I just went with it and tried to get as far as I can, and I'm still doing that. So I love where it's taken me, and I love the opportunities it's given me, and hopefully it's more to come.
What's the junior cricket scene like in Holland? Is it big? Is it growing? Is it like decreasing? Like how many juniors play like in the clubs around Holland?
I think we've got 5,000 cricketing members in Holland. So there'll be, I don't know, maybe 1,500 youth cricketers. And we had one competition in each age group. So you'd be stuck with decent players, shit players, and like average players. Sometimes you'd have a girl walking around there because there's no girls teams in the youth groups either. So it's weird. Like you'd have a couple of good bowlers you'd have to face off every game, but then as soon as you got through them, it was just heaven. But it's not really growing at the moment. No, it's mostly Asian expats that play now, all their kids. But the thing is, most of them will leave the country again in a couple of years when their parents have finished working. So it's a bit of a worry that there's no structure that's going to be there for a long time.
Do you guys talk about that, how there's no structure in place to grow the game in like the native land of Holland with like the kids and the juniors, like to build that up? Do you guys talk about how you guys can basically grow up from zero to get it to where it is in like England, Australia, and like these other bigger nations?
Yeah, I think there's been some chat around that in the past couple of years. I don't know the ins and outs because that's like something I don't want to keep myself busy with yet. But it's definitely, I think the board is definitely looking at how to grow that, the under nines and getting people interested in the game, because it's not like in other countries where you play sports at school. It's actually, you have to be registered by a parent at a club straight away. So, the amount of kids that will ever get into contact with cricket is just very little. So I think that's where the main problem lies.
Yeah.
Just back to the family thing quickly, Baz. Your cousin they play for the Netherlands women's team now, don't they? Your dad obviously played for Netherlands in the 90s and noughties, bowled against some pretty big names. I'm going to gloss over Trent's point in the notes that what's in your genes and where can I get it? But what is sort of backyard cricket, family cricket, the family barbecue, whatever? What's the dynamics there? Is dad rolling in off a few paces, like aiming at your jaw? Are you trying to settle in? Like, talk us through those dynamics in the backyard.
There's actually not a lot of family backyard cricket. It used to be me, my dad, and my little brother, and then sometimes one of my sisters pops in. But my dad was pretty chilled on us, both me and my little brother. I think the rivalry comes in more to my little brother and I. We used to tape the ball up and then put, I don't know, stumps or chairs or whatever everywhere, acting as fielders close by, short leg, silly point, whatever not, and then play like a proper test match. But no, my dad was actually pretty chilled in that sense. And I've actually never played backyard cricket with my cousins, so maybe that's something to
tick it off
doing this Christmas.
For sure.
Actually, a funny thing happened last week, Baz. I got sent a video from my old man where I was 10, we're in the nets, and I wasn't transferring my weight properly into my cover drive. So I was like, I missed the half volley outside off. So the naturally Australian father thing to do is next ball, he bumped me and then got me straight in the lid and then proceeded to abuse me for like the next 5 minutes. So I'm guessing nothing bad happened to you growing up. It's all pretty supportive.
Yeah, no, he was pretty supportive. He always said he'd give me the opportunity to train like short stuff and whatever not, and like train outside my comfort zone. But he was like, if you don't want it, then that's cool. He never like forced me to do anything. So no, luckily I wasn't scared of him facing him in the nets. But there was plenty of older guys. I always trained 2 or 3 years up, so there was plenty of older guys that wanted to, or I felt like they wanted to hurt me. They probably just tried to keep the ball as full as they can because I was about 1 meter 20.
Haris Rauf channeled that energy a couple of weeks ago, evidently.
Exactly.
So evidently it's all going to plan. You had a great summer, bar England, probably picking off 498 against you, but less said about the better. You just finished playing in the Abu Dhabi T10 League. A lot of big names in your side. They tee off in that league. And you were playing alongside the likes of Moeen Ali and David Miller. Any nuggets of wisdom you picked up along the way?
Not a lot. It was funny. Like I came there and it was my first franchise tournament ever. So I didn't really know what to expect. And all I've heard from the T10 was it's good cricket, but it's like kind of a piss take.
Right.
As people just swing as hard as they can and ball 10 overs of death. So I came there with my best intentions, and I think we trained twice in those 4 days. 2.5 times maybe if you can count the couple of balls I hit before the game. So it was like there was just a bit of a leveler to my expectations and reality. But then just to be, I don't know, it not necessarily on the field, but off the field, just to be able to speak to, like you said, David Miller or Moeen, just get to know them. Also outside of cricket, like they're all great guys, and people always say good people make good sportsmen, and I kind of can confirm that now, I guess. So it was just cool to be around them for a week and a half or a week and a bit. But then, learning wise, it was just T10 was pretty hectic in terms of.
It's quite peculiar, isn't it? Because like you grow up playing forms of cricket your whole life, and then you get thrown into something like that you've never been prepared for. It does seem like sort of, what do grade cricketer call it, Trent? Like silly
wheelie bin shit.
Yeah, wheelie bin shit. Like just hit out, get out. Do you like feel a benefit from playing those sorts of tournaments? Like,
well, obviously I only played.
Yeah, you only played the last game, but
12, so it's hard to say that, but it definitely it makes it easier, I guess, next time when you do play with these guys again, or you play against guys, or you play with guys that you've played against now. I think it makes it easier to go up and have a conversation with them. So, maybe this one game won't help my cricketing abilities a whole lot, but I think being around those guys and having the opportunity to speak to guys that you played against and whatever not, I think that really helps.
One thing I would say, Trent, sorry to butt in, but Trent and I, before we hopped on this call, we were thinking sort of naturally, as club cricketers would, who go on tour to places like Brighton. What are you doing in your free time? You camel riding, quad bikes, top golf. Like what are you doing? What sort of cliques are we running in Dubai? Like talk us through the off game.
There was actually quite a bit of off time. And to be honest, I was pretty boring this trip. I had exams to prepare for when I got back, so I was mostly in the books. But we had a birthday once, so we went out, celebrated for that guy. There was, you've got the mall in Abu Dhabi, you've got Water World, you've got Ferrari World. So all these types of things that you can do during the day and then play at night, I guess. I played my 3rd round of golf in my life. Quite a nice course, I've been told, so that was cool.
How do you know?
Didn't do as badly as I thought I was going to do. Still did shit though, but I wasn't expecting much.
Good James.
Yeah.
Some decent competition in the Dutch team as well. Some decent players.
Yeah, I've been told. I don't know how much I should believe of that, but they all say they're good.
Who's the best?
I think Logan van Beek might be the best.
Okay. Because Dan Christian went out with the boys quite a lot and played with them, didn't he?
Yeah, he was very handy.
Useful. And not bad at cricket back in his day, I heard.
Yeah, still going.
Obviously,
it's way before my time.
Yeah.
obviously, you're heading back out to Abu Dhabi to play T20 with Mumbai Indians. What sort of, how are you preparing for that? Looking forward to it? Obviously, you're playing pretty much exclusively white ball cricket. Is there any way you're adapting your game to these new stages in your career?
Well, it's definitely something that I've been working on the last year. Is more my power hitting side of betting. I've always been quite a decent touch player, but then to be able to, start from ball one and be able to, put the bowlers under pressure is different, I guess, and that's something that I've tried to work on the last couple of years, last couple of months. But then I guess, what's worked for me now in the World Cup is bowling wise. I think that pretty much stays the same. I guess it's about having 2 or 3 balls that you can really rely on to get yourself into a good space when you're bowling. And then betting wise, I looking at the team that I'm going to be a part of, I don't think I'll be betting up high if I do play. So, figuring out ways to score 20 off 10 balls to finish off the innings, stuff like that. Just trying to be very specific in my scenario stuff, and yeah.
You bat 3 for Netherlands in the World Cup. Then you're talking about batting low in the order. What do you change with your technique and like your mindset going like with the different positions in the order?
I think it. Yeah, well, obviously the order is going to depend the scenario you're going to be in, but I think training based on a scenario is better than actually thinking like order wise, because if you're betting at 3 and you're coming in the 15th over, you're going to have to play a role that number 6 or 7 would normally play. But yeah, I'd probably, when you've got 5 people out on the boundary, it's about looking to hit the ball where the fielders aren't, and can you do that off ball 1? So that's something I've started to train, is like jumping in a net, facing 10 balls, trying to score 20, then jumping out, having 2 or 3 minutes rest, and then jumping in and trying to do it again. So stuff like that, and working on my scoop, reverse scoop. Stuff like that. I'm trying to get better at.
Just before we head to the draft, I picked up that you actually played a season in Australia. Great cricket in Perth.
Yeah.
How was that? How'd you find that? You're useless.
Yeah. So I got there, and I think in the second week, my test results from my MRI scan came back on my back, and I had 2 stressies. So I was out. I was out for a month and a half, not being able to do anything. And then luckily after that, I could start training and betting again. So I played as a batsman pretty much the whole season after that. I think I made 150, and that's it. So I think the boys must have been pretty spewing about that, expecting some big things from me. But it was very cool, man. It was so cool to experience Australia in that way for 6 months, and I pretty much went to the beach the whole day.
Yeah, perfect. It's nice area. They're a bit different out west. Different breed out there. Did you cop much abuse as being a foreigner, especially from Netherlands?
There was a couple of teams, especially like the main rivals that thought they had to off your game. But then I was like, guys, I'm already off my game. You don't have to push me down. I'm struggling as is. No, but it was funny to experience that for the first time, because in Holland you don't really get it. So I guess it helped me a bit in knowing what to expect when we do play Australia sometime
in the future. Right, yeah. Let's get in the draft. Bas, I'm sure that you're one of our 3 weekly listeners, and you would have known last week that we've installed a draft through our proceedings. It's called the Nice Cricket Shit Draft, and we try to loosely base it off our guests we have that week. And this week, to honour your headbutt against Haris Rauf, we thought we choose the topic, which bowler would we like least to get hit by? It's a 3-person roster.
In history, we should add.
In history, yes.
Yeah.
In cricket history. 3-person roster, you pick 3 times each. Bas, you'll lead off, and then Paddy, you go second, and I'll bring out the rear again. So after Timmy Pringle's potato salad mishap last week, I've got to ask, do you have any questions before we start off?
No, I think so. I assume that if I pick someone, you guys can't pick him anymore.
Right.
Okay. Yeah. Perfect. So this is
no wonder his head's always in the books. He's a little bit more switched on than Timmy. All right, take us away, Bas.
And number 1, I'm going to go with Brett Lee. Seems like he's got a lot of, I don't know, everything just seems to go straight at your head instead of going off somewhere.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get in there because I know Trent, you'll be eyeing it up, but the sheer goggle-eyed mania bowling 161 clicks of Shoaib Akhtar. I think that's the first name on any roster. I mean, I'm scared when I'm facing sort of like 70 miles an hour. So to go and face 100 plus, as well as it being from someone who is just sort of batshit mental as well. I think Shoaib Akhtar, he's the first name on my roster every day of the week.
Yeah, he was on mine too. Another snake from you. My first pick was actually Sean Tate. There's one spell in particular that comes to my mind. It was that T20 game against Pakistan where he bowled over 155 every single ball in the over. Just pure fear in the batsman's eyes. I'd love it. I wouldn't want to face that at all. It's good to watch though. Bad, you're up, mate. Pick 2.
I'm gonna go take a dive in the Dutch cricket history.
Oh.
A guy called André van Troost.
Oh, okay.
I'll spell out his name later for you, but
yeah, please do.
He's one of the most fearsome bowlers to have ever graced Holland, but also the county circuit. He played for Somerset for 2 years, and then had to retire at I think 29 when he struggles with his back. But there's some guys in county cricket saying he's the fastest they've ever faced. He was about 2 meters tall, so yeah, I wouldn't fancy that.
That's a good niche pick. I like that.
It's really good. I'm sort of tossing them up now because I want to make the roster as complete as possible. I think I'm going to go Malcolm Marshall in the 90s. You know, test bowling average of like 20, and steaming in bowling at you at some heat as well. I'm going to go for that. I wanted to go. There's so many West Indian options you can go for, but I think him and Shoaib. But it's not an easy day out, is it, Trenner?
Good front too, isn't it? No, it's a horrible day out. I'm going to go Dale Steyn. Pure fear factor, just from his eyes alone. If he just comes through, bowls a half volley outside off, I'll leave it through the keeper. He just stares at me. I'm done. I'm walking off, kicking the stumps over. So that's my second pick.
Last one. I'm thinking, do I go current or do I go
Haris Rauf's up there, surely.
He's in the conversation.
He has to be my number 3.
It has to be. You've already worn him. You've worn him as a cap.
You can't even knock you down.
I'm not scared of getting hit anymore. He's already got me. Now I'm gonna go Mitch Johnson in Australia.
Yeah.
In Australia.
Yeah.
Same guy, just I don't know, he seems off. He just seems a little bit too crazy. Yeah, scary.
He'd give you
13-14 series. Oh, he retired a few players. That's how good he is. Jonathan Trott, never see him again.
He'd give you a bit of stick as you went off as well. He'd just give you a send off, which is pretty tough.
Just make you feel worse.
Broken fucking arm, get ready for it.
Tough to round things off. Tough going. I'm going to go Mark Wood. I'm going to go current because he's still a bit skiddy. So it doesn't it's not that as much fear factor, but he does bowl exclusively bouncers. So it's like you are sort of teetering on the edge of getting hit in the face quite a lot. And I'm only, as much as I like to say I'm bordering on 6'3", I'm only a 5'8" tall man. So sort of most things on a good length are probably traveling through quite quick. So I reckon that's going to be my third pick, Trenner.
It's not bad. I don't mind that. I'm going to go number 3 for me. Hurley Ambrose. 2 things come to mind for this one: limbs and chest. 6'10" coming down from the moon, and every single ball is going through the nipple height. So yeah, that's my third pick. That's going to round off my roster. I don't know how I've done. I got snaked a few times from you boys, but I think Baz, I think you've won this one.
Yeah, do you want to run us through the rosters?
Yeah.
Run us through the rosters, Treno. Round it up.
So I'm going to say mine was, what do I have? Sean Tate. Then I had Dale Steyn, Kelly Ambrose. Paddy, you had
Show back to Malcolm Marshall, Mark Wood.
And Baz, you had
Brett Lee, Andre Van Drost, and Mitchell Johnson. Good options. Might have to leave it to the fans. They're good details in there.
Yeah, good details. I still think Baz takes it away.
So to wrap things up, Baz, it's so good to have you on. What's for the future? You're still only 23. You're evidently a Jet. What are you setting your sights on next?
A dream of mine is still to play county cricket, so I'm gonna try and keep pushing that. But then I guess some Dutch stuff that's coming up. I mean, we've got a great young group. If we can keep those guys together and keep enjoying playing with each other, we can hopefully do some more stuff that we did at the World Cup. So that would be amazing for Dutch cricket, I think.
What county would you play for?
No clue.
Go on, Trevor.
Anyone.
So last question. I was going to ask: do you prefer red ball cricket? You've played one first class game. Do you prefer red ball cricket to white ball cricket?
Nah. I can't base it on the one game that I played, but I think I prefer white ball cricket over red ball.
Okay.
Too long.
Yeah, yeah. Big days in the dirt. Yeah.
Duke's ball moves as well, mate.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Buzz, anything you'd like to say before you go?
No, mate. I've had fun. I thought it was great.
Thanks very much, mate. And we'll have to let you know. We're planning on coming out to the Netherlands at some point next year, so we'll give you a shout when we're out. Yeah.
That'd be awesome. We'll catch up for a beer.
Yeah, for sure, mate. And a dodgy net as well, I think. Yeah, an espresso martini.
Awesome. I'll keep grafting.
Well, better get working now, mate. You've got a lot to work on. Also, good luck for the exams. What are you studying?
Yeah. Thanks, mate. Business administration.
Oh, awesome. Something to fall back on.
Yeah,
exactly.
Run the league, mate.
Awesome.
Run Netherlands cricket.
Thanks so much for coming on, Bas.
Lovely.
Cheers, guys. Thank you.